Here we come, walking down the street. We get the funniest looks from everyone we meet. Hey, it's B-Movie Enema. And people say we just fart around, but we're too busy hosting new movies every week.
You tried.
I did, but it's not going to get me down. We're no longer the young generation, and I have things to say about this week's movie. This week, it's The Night of the Strangler. Now, we've got lots to go over here, and I'm certainly going to go much deeper into the topic of the Monkees and their drummer, and one of the featured stars of this movie, Micky Dolenz. But let's talk a little bit more about the movie as a whole first. Now, this movie deals with a couple of pretty major topics in 1972. Interracial marriage and abortion.
It's hard to believe that a movie made less than 50 years ago was controversial for featuring interracial marriage.
Yeah, exactly. And I can understand abortion. I mean, that's always been controversial, right? I mean, the spectrum for what you believe in terms of allowing abortion or not isn't even all that black and white. And with the decision in the Roe v. Wade case constantly in danger of being overturned, it's fair to say that this is going to be an issue that probably won't go away anytime soon. But with interracial relationships, these things have happened for a very long time. Certainly as any group of people moved or settled from their original location to another that have people of different races, it's really only a matter of time before interracial relationships start. When we talk about interracial relationships featuring a white person, well, that's been going on since really Europeans came to North and South America and Australia. The more that the world became more aware of itself, there was interracial relationships happening between explorers, pioneers, and general expat sorts of situations.
Yeah, it just simply happens.
Exactly, but in the United States there have been some very bizarre and, quite frankly, unfortunate feelings around the concept. Believe it or not, interracial marriages have only been legal in all 50 states since June 12, 1967. My parents were in their mid-20s by then, and it was only a few months shy than a full decade before I was born. And just because something becomes legal doesn't mean that it changes hearts and minds of people who were against the concept for the sake of the law on June 11, 1967. So individuals still had prejudices and racist opinions.
Laws don't dictate how people feel about one another, only how they are allowed to treat one another in the purview of society.
Indeed. So here's a movie that came out 5 years after the laws passed that made it illegal to prevent interracial marriages. However, it's kind of peculiar because the laws feel like they were mostly in place to prevent white people from marrying other races. There are several instances in which Asians or ethnic Mexicans married each other, or black or Native American folks and so forth. It's a weird thing to be sure, and I'm not exactly sure if I'm necessarily somebody who should speak to this, but it's one of those things that raises a lot of questions. But that said, the whole idea made its way into media. After the turbulent 60s, there certainly was a more liberal slant towards civil rights issues and relationships between the races. With each year that passed, what used to be considered white parts of town or black areas were now becoming much more integrated in several metropolitan areas across the country, particularly in the north. That started to show through in entertainment. For example, All in the Family dealt with an older generation guy coming to terms with his liberated daughter and her meathead husband, his black neighbors, and just generally new concepts that he never had to deal with in his entire life. Now, All in the Family used comedy to show how someone's outdated ideas about gender and race were pretty ridiculous. However, movies had more latitude to deal with some of the darker realities of this shifting social landscape. Blaxploitation exploded onto the scene. Now, while some received wider acclaim and attention, it gave black folks a way to have their stories told from their point of view. Now, while not all of those films were entirely made by black creators, they were certainly given some more power than before. And I would say Night of the Strangler kind of fits this category. Night of the Strangler was released to mostly controversy because of its theme of racial conflict, but later it did start getting a little bit better reviewed. However, it's probably best to state right out of the gate, this is pretty much an exploitation film. It most definitely wanted to put the racial conflict stuff right in the face of people who would hear about this movie. In fact, some critics felt that the advertising was purposely aggressive and feared that it would lead to a rise of real-world violence. The film was given several titles in its lifetime. Naturally, Night of the Strangler or The Night of the Strangler is the best known titles, and it was remastered in 2017 with The Night of the Strangler title. However, there are other titles associated with the movie too that evoke various things that might link the race stuff or other ideas that kind of lean into the whole thing about this movie. For example, we have The Bus Is Coming. Now, I don't know about anybody else, this definitely led me to kind of conjure up references to Rosa Parks on the bus. We also have The Ace of Spades, though this was typically referred to as a working title. But if you want to know what the reference is here, let's just say an outdated slur is hiding in plain sight right there on the poster. Then the most common title other than Night of the Strangler was Is the Father Black Enough?, which featured a tagline that really angered people. Quote, "A racist wind blows the dust from a black man's grave to choke the honkies to death."
Wow.
Yeah, that's a hell of a eye-catching tagline. I think we should probably table all the deeper racial and social stuff and get into the first part of the movie. And when we come back after this first act, I'll go much more into Micky Dolenz and my love of the Monkees as an extremely important part of my childhood. So let's get that film a-rolling, nurse, and we'll see you back here in a bit.
Good to see you. You're the best surprise so far this year. Hey, I heard about you and Carol splitting. It's really a surprise.
Yeah, it's probably for the best, though. She's dating Dan now. You know what I mean. Why don't you come back and go to Newcomb? Oh, it's a better school. Besides, you don't make it as a Vassar girl.
You, darling. My dear Vassar isn't exactly the dream school. She's far enough away from our big brother. Look, by the way, where is he? Look, I told you I had to see you both. I made that clear on the phone, Vance.
Yeah, what's wrong, Denise?
It's nothing but... Look, I've got something to tell you both, and I have to get back to school tonight. Look, is he here?
Oh, he's home playing Big Brother as usual. I tell you, he's really pissed that you won't talk about this on the phone.
Look, Vance, you don't talk about this on the phone.
Yeah, but you know how he blew his top when you decided to go to Vassar. He's afraid some Yankee carpetbagger's going to seduce you one of your weekends in New York.
Okay, if a Southern bigot at LSU and Baton Rouge seduces me.
You're in rare form, honey.
Look, Vance, please don't let it... Oh, Christ, this is such a bummer.
Denise, what is it?
I have something to tell you both. Please, Vance, when I tell you, don't cop out on me. You're the only family I've got.
All right, let's have it. Well?
I'm getting married.
Of course, Denise. What else does a young lady of culture and breeding do when she finishes school? But that's hardly any reason to fly down here and get me out of court.
Oh, don't use your courtroom technique on me, Dan. You know what I mean. I'm getting married now, and I'm not going to finish school. I can't finish school.
Just what do you mean you can't finish school? After all the money I've spent on that damn Yankee institution, I think you'd better clarify that last statement.
Hey, hold it. Take it easy. Honey, why can't you finish school? You can tell us. You've got to tell us.
I can't finish school because I'm getting married next week in New York. And I'm pregnant.
Well, I'll be a son of a bitch. I would have bet my last dime that a Robert woman could handle her first school romance without this.
This isn't a school romance, Dan. My pregnancy isn't an accident.
Oh, spare us the details, Denise. Look, I'll arrange an immediate abortion and you'll return to school.
Christ's sakes, Dan.
There is one thing, however. This boy. I want to talk to him and his parents. And I hope to God, Denise, he comes from a decent family.
Don't, Dee.
Please sit down, Vance. I haven't told you everything. Vance, I love you very much. I know how you feel about things, Dan. I mean about life in general. I don't know how to tell you what I feel.
Good Lord, Denise, I've had enough. Will you out with it?
All right, Dan. The man.
What?
A black man.
You, my baby sister. You let a stinking, degenerate nigger into your body? Hey, Dad! Kill her! She's better off dead. Nigger son of a bitch is gonna marry my sister. Damn it! Let her go!
You're a real shit. You know that, Dan?
I knew it. You knew about this all along, didn't you? Well, you listen to me, little brother. She doesn't exist. As far as I'm concerned, I don't have a sister. You. As for you, you little slut. You go back to that nigger and I'll kill him. Do you hear me? I'll kill him.
It's over, Dan.
I'll kill the both of them. He's a dead nigger, I promise you. He's as good as dead.
You are nuts, Dan. You belong in a goddamn cage.
Carol doesn't think so, now does she, little brother? Your former girlfriend is going to marry me. She couldn't take any more of your nigger-loving ways.
Denise! Honey, where you going?
I don't want to talk about it, Vance. I love him. Going back to New York where he is.
Oh, Denise, It can't work. Think about it. You know, these things, they just don't work.
Never thought I'd hear that from you, Vance.
Oh, Dave, if it was just you and me and this crummy world didn't exist, it could work. You know I believe that. What are you gonna do?
I don't know what I'm going to do. But I'll do something. Whatever it is, I'll do it with him.
Dee.
Scares me. I know what Dennis is capable of.
I'm not gonna run, baby.
But you don't understand. He's capable of murder.
We can't run, Denise. We just can't.
I had to tell you. I couldn't keep it in any longer.
It'll be all right, baby. I'll tell Jake, and everything will be fine.
God, I love you. Love you so much.
Well, what do I say, Father?
Amen might be appropriate.
Yes, it might be at that.
You know, Jesse, the church could stand a bit more humility itself at times. Practicing what one preaches is sometimes a very difficult thing to do. But you came back, and that's what's important. You know, it's a whole lot like the parable of the prodigal son. You see, that story, Jesse, is not just about the son that returned to the fold. No, there was another son. He stayed and ended up hating his father, his brother, his very home itself. Now, the church is your home, and you came back. And if we couldn't accept your humanity, well, the church would be the loser. This way, we both win. You have the church, but most important, the church has you.
Yes. But I want to thank you for helping me get my old parish back in New Orleans.
Father Babin figures returning to the scene of the crime is standard procedure in criminology. Maybe in theology it has its place also. God bless you, my son.
Thank you very much, Father. And goodbye.
Goodbye.
Jesse. Oh, it's great to have you back. Why didn't you telephone? Tell us you were coming. We didn't expect you for another 3 days.
Well, I didn't want to inconvenience anybody. Let me look at you. How you been?
Fine.
You look great.
Thank you. Welcome home.
Thank you. Well, the place sure hasn't changed much, has it?
Well, I like that. All our brilliant carpentry, and you didn't even notice.
Notice what?
The wall, Father. We finally got our new window in.
Oh, that. Yeah, well, it looks good.
Look, Father, I have to run. Let's get together for lunch, okay?
Fine.
I have to teach my biology class about reptiles. Well, I'll see you later.
In the cafeteria?
Yes. Bye-bye.
For your penance, say an Our Father and the Hail Mary. By the authority of our Lord Jesus Christ, I absolve you from your sins in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. God bless you, and go in peace. is it?
Jesse, I'm going to take over your duties here at the rectory for several days.
Well, why, Father? Have I done something wrong?
No, that's just the point. Your work here has been superb, but it's just that you're spending all of your time here. That isn't good. Now, why don't you take it easy? Renew acquaintances. And there is one very touchy situation in which you could be extremely helpful. The Roberts.
Oh, you mean between Dan and Vance?
Have you seen them yet?
No, Father. I've been...
Then you don't know about Denise.
Denise? What about Denise?
About her suicide.
Her what?
Yes, she committed suicide. You were away at the time, and then you went into the monastery incommunicado.
My God. Well, why? What happened?
Well, I don't think anybody knows the whole story, but it split Dan and Vance. Jesse, why don't you go and see them? I think you could make a lot more headway with them than I can. And take all the time you need. Don't worry about the rectory. I'll cover your duties here.
Thank you, Father. Yes, of course, I'll do that.
Try to do me in. I won't take it lying down. Man gotta play for all he's worth. Life is a mean old town.
Father Babin told you?
What? Oh, Anne. Come in. Sit down.
About Denise's suicide.
Oh, yes, that. Yes, he did.
Who's that young man?
Some guy she was going with at the time, I think. I'm not sure.
Did Father Babin tell you about the rumor?
Rumor? What rumor?
She was pregnant. The father was black.
Oh. No, he didn't.
Nobody wants to talk about it. Vance won't talk about it, even with me.
Even to you?
Oh, I'm sorry. You couldn't know. Vance and I are going together now.
Well, how long has that been going on?
Ever since Carol.
Yes, yes.
It's getting pretty bad. Vance is still hung up on losing Carol. And sometimes I think Dan's marrying her just to spite Vance. That's my problem. I talk too much anyway. I've got to get through to Vance. For our sake.
Well, I just don't want to see you get hurt. Not with all that's coming down with the wedding and all.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
How's Vance taking it?
Oh, he doesn't love Carol. He never did. It's just his male ego, his pride that's hurt. Dan tends to rub things in.
Yeah.
Oh, look, Father, I've got to run. Vance is picking me up. I'm late already. Bye, Father. Thanks.
Hey, you play it cool, okay?
Where is he? Where is that little punk?
I may be your law partner and your best man, but I'm not your brother's keeper.
Ben, we're ready when you are.
Thank you, Father.
I'm sorry I am late.
All right, little brother. Get your coat on. We've been waiting 20 minutes on you.
We've been waiting 20 minutes.
What did you say? You're drunk.
You're right. I am drunk. For once...
Can't shape up. Think you're gonna mess up Carol's wedding? You're crazy.
Carol's wedding? Oh, Carol's wedding. No, sir. No, I wouldn't mess up Carol's wedding. Hey, not me do that? No. I mean, after all, she almost married me.
You little bastard. If that rationalization suits your adolescent ego, you go right ahead. I think the lady decided she wanted a better man.
Stop! Try to match.
That's right, Dan. I may be a nigger, but this is the Lord's house, and no man, black or white, is going to defame it. Come on, Vance, let's go.
Hey, it's a beautiful wedding, huh?
Come on.
Beauty and the bigot. Keep the family name untarnished, Dan. Blue blood to blue blood. Keeping that ace pure! I bet you never saw a wedding like that, huh, Jesse?
You're right. That's a new one for me.
Hey, I gotta go back.
What you gotta go back for?
I forgot to kiss the bride, Jesse.
Don't worry about it. Neither did I. Come on.
Jesse, that's it. We both gotta go back and kiss the bride, and then when you kiss her, Dan is gonna have a heart attack, and then I'll move in on Carol.
Come on. Let's talk about it in the car, okay? Hey, I'm driving. And I'm buying the coffee, okay?
Alright, let's talk about Micky Dolenz and the Monkees. Are you ready for this, nurse?
I feel like you were going to talk about it anyways, even if I wasn't.
You're goddamn right I was. Micky was born George Michael Dolenz in 1945, and his parents, George Sr. and Janelle Johnson, were both actors. Now, this naturally led to him getting into acting as a child. His first starring role was in a kids' TV show called Circus Boy. He was Corky, the orphaned water boy for elephants at a circus in the early 20th century. And that show ran for a couple of years. And while he attended school as a kid, he would get roles here and there on TV shows, but his life changed while he was in college. He tried out for a show that was basically made to capitalize on the popularity of the stardom of the Beatles, and this would be the Monkees. The Monkees as a concept was the brainchild of aspiring filmmakers Bert Schneider and Bob Rafelson. Now, these two guys could have an entire segment of their own in this episode just to talk about their careers, particularly Rafelson's directing career. And they were inspired by A Hard Day's Night, which was the first film starring the Beatles. A Hard Day's Night basically made the Beatles seem like four young lads who happened to be musicians and just kind of living their lives as they rocketed to fame. It was an excellent sell of the individual Beatles' personalities. If all you knew of them were their songs, here they were, and you could see and hear some of their individual personalities in concerts and various radio and TV appearances. But this movie really made them seem and feel like real people. The Monkees kind of spun that. Through Raybert Productions, which was the company formed by Schneider and Rafelson, they sought to prefabricate a rock and roll band and also potentially sell the music. It was from the very beginning a production. Now, to this day, there are some that will scoff at the Monkees for being prefabricated. In fact, the Beatles were always called the Fab Four. Meanwhile, the Monkees were called the Prefab Four. They get some flack for creating the boy band craze that took off again here and there over the last 55 years, but I feel like that's a tad unfair.
Were the Monkees the first boy band?
Yes and no. Maybe as a band, but after rock and roll kind of exploded onto the scene a decade before, there was gold in them hills. People were manufacturing images and acts to make all the money off the kids who were kind of thumbing their noses at their stuffy parents for trying to keep the godless gyrations of hips and the proliferation of sexual thoughts and lyrics since the late 50s. When the early 60s came along, there was a wasteland of pop rock handsome boys singing watered down rock tunes. And while the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, and to a certain extent the Beach Boys, would ultimately liberate rock and roll and push it into a new world of creativity, the Monkees had great tunes and could really kind of compete despite being hired as a set of actors from the beginning.
Well, let's talk about those actors.
Let's. So to start, Rafelson and Schneider put out the call for musicians and actors to come and try out for the show. Dolenz, who was already an established actor with pedigree, was already looking for roles and auditioning for shows while he was attending college. His agent led him to the audition where he became one of the finalists out of the 400 who showed up to audition. Englishman Davy Jones, which was a former racehorse jockey, was also an actor and had done some good on the musical stage with Oliver, and was even on the same Ed Sullivan program with his castmates that the Beatles were when they made their first US TV appearance. He had a recording contract with Columbia, who was going to distribute the Monkees. So he was, like Dolenz, kind of elevated through the process. Peter Tork was a folk musician who had some pretty decent friends. He was buddies with Stephen Stills of Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Sometimes Young. He was a very skilled musician and could play several instruments, something that neither Dolenz nor Jones had any ability on even a single instrument at the time that they were hired. And finally, you had the perceived elder statesman of the Monkees, Michael Nesmith. Nesmith's mom famously invented whiteout and formed the company that became Liquid Paper. He was a Texan in his mid-20s. He was also a musician and had done some country western style albums at the same label that Davy Jones had under the name Michael Blessing. He was also a songwriter. Now, while most of the Monkees songs were written by hired songwriters, Nesmith had a few songs of his own that would make it to albums and even as singles in a couple of cases. But the song that he's probably best known for writing was Different Drum. That's not a Monkee song, but it was one that he had sold to Stone Ponies and was sung by a young Linda Ronstadt. Nesmith was also the only one of the four who was there based on the classified ad in the trade papers. Everyone else had a leg up. But as it turned out, Mike was usually recognized as the leader of the band, despite Micky being usually deemed the lead singer and Davy being the star of the show. And so goes the story of the Monkees.
An interesting story indeed.
Yep.
So...
Yep.
Are we going back to the movie?
We're not watching Head, the Monkees' one and only movie that was co-written by Jack Nicholson, are we?
Nope. Still Night of the Strangler.
We've really hardly talked about the movie, have we?
Not really at all.
Well, maybe we should go back to the movie and let it go a little longer, then come back here and actually talk about it, yes?
I think that's a good idea.
And while that goes on, I can show you all my Monkees albums, and, I have a shit ton of them on vinyl.
I have no choice in this matter, do I?
Nope.
He's gonna pay for it.
What?
You see, Carol was raised believing that being born in the Daughters of the Confederacy was second only to salvation, you know? But she started coming around when I was going with her. And I went to Nam, and my brother moved in, and his money and his social...
Listen, have you ever considered that losing Carol might be the best thing? For you, I mean. If it's what she wants. We know it's what Dan wants. Frankly, I think they deserve each other, man, and you're better off out of it.
I'll be all right. As soon as my ego heals. At least that's what Ann tells me. But Dan Robert's got a big one coming, Jesse. That's a promise. I never told anybody this before. But Denise, she'd be alive today if that racist bastard, if he had thought about her instead of his social image.
Yeah, I heard about Denise. Vance, is there any truth to the rumor that she was pregnant and that the father was black?
Oh, it's not a rumor, Jesse. He was black, all right. That's why she's dead. She couldn't take Dan's bigotry. And he completely disowned her. He beat her up. He threatened to kill her. He threatened to kill both of them. He killed her. He might as well have cut her wrist himself. And Jesse, that man's gonna pay for it.
You sure make a pretty bride.
Thank you, Willie.
And marrying Mr. Dan, too. And all the while I thought Mr. Vance was the one.
That's enough, Willie.
Dan, it's all right. It's all right.
Carol, honey, would you wait for me on the porch? I'll be right there. Willie, I thought I told you to stay out of the way.
I'm sorry, Mr. Dan. Just trying to...
I don't care what you were just trying to do, Willie. I'm tired of you stumble-bumming around here day after day, year after year. I want you out of here. You're dismissed.
Dismissed? You mean fired? But, Mr. Dan, I can't find another job just like that. I've been working for you and your daddy so long, I haven't even had time to think about working anywhere else.
That's not a subject I wish to discuss, Willie. My father's dead, and I'm in charge now. You've got your notice. You're dismissed.
Mr. Dan, what about Clara May? I mean, you know how long she's been sick. All that medicine, all that debt I'm in. I can't afford to miss one payday, let alone look for another job.
You heard me, Willie. You have your notice. I want you and all of your tools out of my garage by tomorrow. I understand you handle these in Nam, right? You don't know the time I had keeping that little devil alive. Well, have fun.
Better anyway. Dan still won't talk to me. Can't really blame him. I guess I did kind of screw up the wedding, huh?
Well, you have to give him a little time. That's why I'm here. I thought I'd send him over some flowers to help smooth things out.
Oh, he's gonna love that. A token Negro priest asking for his forgiveness. Master Dan, I'm sure sorry I stopped you from defamming the church and killing your younger brother. He'll really love that.
Come on, Vance. Now, don't be so bitter. That attitude will kill you in the long run. After all, to ask forgiveness is humility. But to forgive, salvation. You really ought to give Dan a chance.
Oh, Jesse, how can you say that? I mean, after all the crap you've had to put up with from people like him.
People like him. Let me tell you something. I get it from both sides. For some whites, I'm a good nigger. The only difference between a good nigger and a nigger is the word good. And for some blacks, I'm an Uncle Tom nigger. Believe me, it's all the same thing. Nigger's an ugly word, but it is, after all, only a word.
Yeah, too much, Jesse.
Vance, those roses are exactly what I want. How much are they?
Nothing, on the house.
Come on now. A welfare case I'm not. How much?
Okay, $18.50 a dozen. I'll bill you later.
Will he get there today?
Oh, yeah, if I have to deliver them myself.
Well, Vance, I really have to go.
Good to see you. Yeah, glad you came by.
So am I.
you doing? I got some more flowers for you. You got enough flowers here to make a funeral.
Who these from?
I don't know.
Well, go on. I'll take it over now.
Come on in, Willie.
Some more flowers, Miss Carol.
Thank you. Aren't these lovely?
And Miss Carol, tell Mr. Dan I'll be leaving tomorrow like he said.
Oh, yes, Willie. I am sorry. I'll tell him. Hello? Why, yes, Father Jesse. This is Carol. Well, I am too, Father. Yes, he's in his study. Oh, I wish you would come over. Oh, by the way, Father, your flowers arrived and they're breathtaking. Thanks so much. Fine. About 7 o'clock then. Good. We'll be waiting for you. Come in, Father. So good to see you.
Oh, good evening, Mrs. Robert.
Have a seat and I'll get down.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I hope I'm not disturbing you.
Not at all. I'll get down and be right back.
Good evening, Father. Come on up.
Well, Dan. Hello. And how is the new husband?
As well as can be expected under the circumstances. What can I do for you?
Well, I actually came over to talk to you.
Come on over and have a seat.
Thank you, Dan.
Would you like a drink?
No, I don't want to be a bother to you.
No bother. Would you like some wine?
No, not really. What I came to talk to you about was,
Dan? Aren't these beautiful? Father Jesse said so. Thanks again, Father. I think I'll put them in the bedroom.
Put them on the dresser, dear. That was a very nice gesture, Father. Thank you.
You're welcome. On second thought, I think I will have just a little wine.
Carol? Carol, honey.
Yes, dear?
Would you get us some wine, please?
Of course, darling.
Well, what I came to talk to you about was the incident at the church. I'm sorry I struck you. I know it was wrong of me to lose my temper.
Apology accepted, Father. I didn't mean to call you call you that. I mean, well, you're not one of those. You're a black man now.
Dan, honey, I can't find a wine.
Excuse me, Father. I'll be right back.
What the hell is this?
Dan, I just want you to please be nice to him.
What do you mean, be nice to him?
Dan, he's a man of God.
No nigger's a man, much less a man of God.
Oh, Dan, please.
I don't want to talk about this.
I hadn't had a chance to congratulate you yet. You're a very lucky man, Dan.
Lucky hell. I just take what I want. There's no luck to that far.
Well, I'd better say good night. When do you plan to leave on the honeymoon?
As soon as the trial's over. Probably be a couple of more days.
Leaving Father so soon.
Yes, Mrs. Robert, I have a few more calls to make, and I didn't want to overstay my visit.
Come by any time.
I hope I see you two in church Sunday.
Possibly, Father. It all depends on the trial.
I love you. I love you.
What is it?
I love you.
I love you too. Now go back to sleep. Carol. Honey, I've got to go to court in the morning at 8. Please go back to sleep.
No, I'm not sleeping. I'm going to play.
Carol, go play in the shower now. I've got to get some sleep.
Be glad when this trial is over.
Carol, where are you going?
Nowhere. Aren't these beautiful?
Operator, give me the police. Jack, it's Dan. Listen, come over right away. Oh, damn it, Jack, get over here. Carol's been murdered. Jack? Are you still there? No. Jack, I know who did it. I know who murdered her.
lady's dead. She's upstairs, and don't touch anything till Bear gets here with his crew from the coroner's office. And leave that snake alone, too. Jim, you better go up there and watch and make sure they don't mess up, huh?
Okay.
Hey, Tony!
Hello, Bear. She's upstairs, and there's a dead snake there, too. Where's your crew?
They're coming. Snake. Sure it's dead?
Yeah, I'm sure it's dead, Bear. Now, listen. I need a double set of photographs. Special attention to the body position and the wound. Now, I don't want you to rush on this one. You know who this guy is, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, now do it right. Hurry up. I want the body downtown fast with the snake.
Gotcha.
Okay. Now, who'd you say you were again, sir?
I'm Jack Markham, Dan's law partner.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Markham. You handle that investment corporation scandal. Case.
That's right. Well, Lieutenant, what can I do to wind up this nightmare for you?
Well, the first thing you can do is ask Mr. Robert if he feels like talking now or later.
Really, Lieutenant, is that absolutely necessary?
Well, it's not only necessary, Mr. Markham, it's compulsory.
Hey, boy, where do you think you're going?
Oh, excuse me. This is Detective Bunch, my partner. This is... who'd you say you were again?
Markham. Jack Markham.
Yeah, Mr. Markham, this is Mr. Bunch. Mr. Markham is Mr. Robert's law partner.
Hello?
Excuse me.
I'll wait outside, Tony.
Right. Mr. Robert?
Yes?
We'll be through here in a little while. But tonight, anyway. Be nice if you could answer a couple of questions.
What do you want to know? Dan, you know you don't have to say anything, don't you?
That's right, Mr. Robert. You think about it. I'll be right back.
You honkies are crazy, you know that?
What?
You heard me, man. I said you honkies are crazy.
What do you mean by that, Jim?
We shoot them or we cut them. But a snake? Shit.
Hey, Jim. What do you think that snake was really meant for?
That's a good question.
What do you say, Mr. Robert?
Go ahead.
The snake, Mr. Robert, how do you think it got in the house?
I haven't the faintest idea.
Did Mrs. Robert have any enemies you know about? Somebody might try something like this?
No. None.
Did you?
No.
Excuse me, Mr. Robert.
Yeah. Listen. We Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. If you are alive, may the Lord forgive you by this holy anointing for the sins you may have committed in this life. The blessing of the Almighty God, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, descend upon you. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Your message. Have you called Vance yet? No. Call him now. Hello, this is Father Jesse, man. I'm at Dan's. Carol is...
What?
Come right over. Carol's dead.
Get dressed. Get dressed!
Now, can you tell me what you remember from the beginning, Mr. Robert, especially about the snake?
The snake struck at her from the bouquet, and by the time I'd killed it, Carol was...
Well, what'd you do next?
I called the police, and then I called Jack.
You're an attorney, Mr. Robert. Doesn't it seem a little strange to you that a man's bride is murdered and the first thing he does is call his law partner?
Now, that's enough. Dan, you don't have to answer any more questions. Lieutenant, I suggest you get your facts straight. Mr. Robert called the police first, and then he called me. I'll testify to that.
You said anything about testifying?
I'm really sorry, Dan. I'm really sorry.
You know what kind of snake it is, Doc?
Whoever killed it did one hell of a job. I haven't been able to identify it yet. But I did get the poison sac out, and I sent it down to the lab along with some of her blood samples. I feel like a kid back in zoology class again. I haven't dissected a snake since then. Only people.
Doc, how long would it take a snake bite to kill somebody?
What do you mean?
Well, you see, I have to know how long it'd take the snake to kill someone. If it took like hours, and how come the husband didn't call sooner?
Well, that depends on where it came from and how it got to the victim.
You won't believe it, Doc. It came in some flowers.
Excuse me. Pathology? Yeah. Asia? What do you mean, Asia? Oh, wait a minute. Let me get that down. Hold on. Spell it for me, will you? E-L-A-P-I-D. Elephant. Uh-huh. Hiya, Jim. Bungaras. Yeah. Well, wait, not so fast. That's it. Oh, good. Thanks a lot. Well, Jim, see, you're still with the dynamic Dago.
Yeah, Doc. You know how it is. I let him move into my neighborhood and he ran it down. So I gotta stay with him until I can teach him a little culture, you know?
Culture, that's what I need working around here. Come on, Doc, what do you got there?
You'll kill him. Extremely venomous nocturnal elephant snake, genus Bungaras, of Eastern Asia and adjacent islands. Its venom can kill in seconds. Front fangs, small, body approximately 12 inches in length. Venom paralyzes the nervous system. Victim suffocates.
Asia. That's over 10,000 miles away.
And from the location of the wound, I'd say it was accelerated. She was dead before she hit the floor, I'd estimate. Well, you boys have a lot of fun with this one.
Yeah. Okay, Doc. Thanks a lot. Come on, bro. Buy you some lunch.
Come again some other time, boys.
Now, Dan, for Carol's parents' sake, please.
All right, Jack. I promise. Feeling good, little brother? Playing with snakes make you feel better? More like a man? I don't know who you were after, but you're gonna die for this, I promise you that.
Yeah.
Mr. Robert?
Yeah, who is this?
My name is not important, Mr. Robert.
Well, it's important to me. I don't talk to people I don't know. Hello.
Miss Robert, don't hang up. I'm calling concerning a certain business transaction in New York City about a year and a half ago.
Who is this? I demand to know who this is.
Mr. Robert, we performed a certain service for you 17 months ago, and we haven't been paid. We fulfilled our end of the agreement, and we can't afford to extend credit, if you know what I mean.
Look, I thought I told you before.
Mr. Robert, we've been through all that before. Your blaming us for your sister's untimely demise is foolish. You should have considered the consequences before you initiated the contract. We want payment in full, now. We don't have legal recourse, if you know what I mean.
Is that a threat? Look, do you know who you're talking to?
No threats, Mr. Robert.
Are you trying to threaten me?
No threats. We simply can't afford to let a client not make payment in full. It would ruin our professional reputation, if you know what I mean.
You go to hell! What are you doing? How long have you been here?
Not long. Not long, then. Please, don't point that thing at me. You scared me to death.
Well, what do you want?
Wait a second, let me catch my breath. I wasn't sure before whether I wanted to finish what I came for. I think I'll just come back.
What did you come for? Did my little brother send you?
No. Vance didn't send me. I came on my own. What I wanted to talk about was I heard what you told Vance at Carol's wake. Aren't you going to say anything? I don't believe he's a murderer. Dan, for God's sake, he's your brother. Doesn't that mean anything?
You listen to me. My brotherly love died the night Carol was murdered. And I have my plans for the person I feel was responsible. Do you understand that?
I'm going to marry Vance. I'm not going to let you manipulate our lives like you do with everyone else. I'm not going to be scared away by threats. Neither is Vance.
That's a decision you may have cause to regret.
Gotcha, Mr. Dan. Gotcha.
Oh, wait, stop. I can help you more alive than dead.
You can't help my wife, Mr. Dismiss. Clara May is dead, you know that? She died on account of you. You're gonna die on account of me.
Alright, so this is the story of the Roberts siblings. We have brothers Vance and Dan. Vance is played by Dolenz, and their sister Denise. Now, she comes home from Vassar to tell them that she is going to drop out of school after all the money Dan has spent to send her there because Well, she's going to get married because she's pregnant. But oh, SpaghettiOs, Denise's boyfriend is a black man. Vance is super cool with whatever his sister wants because he's Micky Dolenz and he's super cool, but Dan...
Oof, Dan is kind of a monster.
Holy fucking shit he is. Now, he's got some pretty choice slurs and he slaps her around. Now, did you notice that Dan told Vance that she didn't exist anymore because she slept with a black man, but that if she went back to him, he'd kill the black guy?
Yeah, I was really confused by that. Did he disown her or what?
I guess, yes, no, I really don't know. But anyway, I guess Dan just went ahead and hired an assassin in New York to kill her boyfriend.
How do you think that works? Do you think he went to the Yellow Pages and looked up a national chain of assassins? And then, they referred him to their New York office?
I would think so. I mean, look, I get it. Dan is a rich guy in New Orleans, but does that mean a lick of shit in New York?
He must have had a 2-for-1 coupon, because then an assassin, probably from the same Assassins R Us store, killed Denise and then made it look like she committed suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, wait. It was more like a 3-for-1 deal. She either got an abortion or on Dan's dime, as he demanded, or it was just, kind of part of the deal of her drowning in the tub.
Also, who leaves the water in the tub like that?
Right? I get that maybe she wanted to take a bath or something to relieve her stress. It's been stressful times. But it would have been real cold by the time she came back to it. But there was a little bit of mystery there too. I mean, we didn't see the guy who killed Denise. We just saw his army jacket, his black gloves, and his peace sign belt buckle. We also see that he took the autographed picture of Micky Dolenz.
Meanwhile, there's Father Jesse.
Ah, yes, the prodigal father. Now, Jesse was a cool dude at the parish, and he's a friend to many people in New Orleans, and he's been away for a little while, but he's back now, and he's here to kick some motherfucking ass. At least in my mind, he's treated like he's a goddamn war hero, and if this movie had come out after The Exorcist, they would have probably said that he exorcised 20 demons with one arm tied behind his back or something.
But he's going to repair the fissure between Dan and Vance.
Yeah, I mean, Jesse even has an autographed Micky Dolenz of his own.
Do you have an autographed Micky Dolenz?
No.
Ah.
Almost all that stuff was in the first part. I didn't talk about any of that. I talked about the Monkees instead.
Yes, you did.
Now, there are some deeper concepts at the heart of this movie, too. All that stuff that I talked about in the first segment before the movie started was really in the first 10 minutes or so. There is a significant social element here that's trying to kind of play itself out. Naturally, Dan's bigotry is the main issue. And this was certainly during the time in which old family standing was the most important thing to that family's image. And that was probably a much bigger deal in the deep white South. So it's interesting to also hear Vance talk about trying to more or less enlighten his old girlfriend Carol before he went off to Vietnam, and then subsequently Dan stole her from him. And apparently she too had that old bigotry that was sown so deeply into the way of life in the South. And he felt that she was really starting to, quote unquote, come around, as he said, before Dan took her away and basically set her back to her original racist ways. Now, this movie is dealing with some pretty deep shit. It feels as though a lot of the characters in this movie are moving on from those older social norms. But there's a rotten root that is festering at the center. It's leading to death and misery.
I think the movie is also trying to make it a mystery that's implicating Vance as the killer, right? The killer has a peace sign belt buckle, he handled venomous snakes in Vietnam, and he's kind of messed up over his brother being a jerk-ass. You pick up on any of that?
Yeah, I think. I'm not 100% sure that's the intent, but it's at least a clue, or maybe meant to be. There's a revelation that's coming that is interesting, but we aren't going to get there by just sitting around talking about it. I guess we need to get back to the movie and let that shocking final act play out to its entirety. Oh yeah, that snake, I think literally died on screen, right? The dude playing Dan, James Ralston, totally beat the shit out of a snake with an umbrella.
I know. Poor Snake.
Eh.
Hi, where you been?
Nowhere. Had to go back to school for a while.
I called her. They said you left. Go cooking?
Well, you must have just missed me.
Doesn't take an hour and a half to get here. What happened?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Oh, did I catch you fooling around, huh? All this time I thought you loved only me.
Hey, what are you doing? Hey, hold on.
And I intend to.
That's what I like about you. You're so damn subtle.
Yes, I'm here now. Right. All right, I'll talk to you later.
It's too bad you had to kill him. Now we'll never know his story.
I know his story.
What?
Nothing.
Nothing, hell.
Now look, Lieutenant DeVito.
And you shut up. How come you're always on the scene before the police?
Lieutenant, I resent that.
Never mind. Just sit down and stay out of my way. Would you like me to sit you down, Mr. Markham? Now, Mr. Robert, what's this I know his story crap? If you know anything, you better tell me right now. Or I'll run your ass in so fast it'll make your head spin. I don't care who you are. Do you understand me?
Hey, Tony.
I'm sorry, Lieutenant. I don't know anything else. I'm really very sorry.
I'm sorry.
What's the matter?
Nothing.
Nothing? Certainly not nothing.
It's nothing. Just drop it.
You don't want to talk about it. Well, I do want to talk about it.
Please, just drop it.
Hey, where were you today? Something happened today, and I want to know what it is.
Look, it's no big thing.
Well, how about letting me decide my half of what a big thing is?
Okay. I went to see Dan on the boat, that's all.
You did what?
I went to see Dan.
You just went and saw Dan?
Yes, is there something wrong with that?
Yeah, there's something wrong with that. I told you he was my business.
Excuse me. I thought his threat was our business.
The hell with his damn threats!
Dan, grow up! Why don't you admit that he frightens you? He frightens me.
Dan doesn't frighten me. I'm not afraid of him. I told you that before, and I also told you to stop bugging me about him. Oh, shit. Yeah.
Excuse me, Mr. Robert. Is Miss Novak here? I'd like to talk to her.
Come on in. And it's Lieutenant DeVito.
Excuse me, I hope I didn't disturb anything.
Yeah, well, you did.
Vance. No, Lieutenant. What can I do for you?
Miss Novak, I'd like to know where you were this morning.
What do you want to know for? What difference does it make where she was this
Mr. Robert,
morning?
do you mind? I'm asking you questions.
Yeah, I do mind, as a matter of fact. What right do you have to come in?
I went to see Dan on the boat.
Miss Novak, about what time was that?
It's about 10:30, but I don't understand.
And what time did you leave the boat?
I don't know. I guess it was about...
Oh, wait a minute. You don't have to answer any more of these questions. I'd like to know what this is all about.
In the first place, I don't like being interrupted when I'm talking to someone. In the second place, it's my day off, and I've got no time to fool around with you. And in third place, they just thrown 2 homicides in my lap. 2 weeks ago, or maybe you've forgotten, your sister-in-law was killed by some imported snake, and nobody wanted to say anything about that. And 30 minutes ago, your brother killed a family gardener. And you're trying to tell me about her rights? The hell is going on in this family? Come on, let's go.
Man, what's happening?
Nothing, man, nothing. Novak was there, all right, and she was on a boat today, too, but she doesn't know any more about it than we do. It's that family that's driving me up a wall. Let's get at it. Come on. Put Spinelli on. Well, it hasn't done anything since that Wesley Stewart St. Charles murder case. I wish I could help you first, but I'm really jammed up. Hey, hold on a second. Yeah. And Novak is here. I'll tell her wait in the conference room. I'll be ready. Right. Yeah, Bert? Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure he can handle it. Day goes on. Yeah, okay. Oh, well, let me know how it comes out. I'll talk to you later, bud. I'm sorry, Miss Novak. What can I do to help you?
Well, what I came about, Lieutenant. First, let me say I'm sorry about the other day. Vance isn't like that. Well, his brother's always been a source.
Forget it, Miss Novak. What can I do to help you?
Well, there's something I think you should know about. I've tried to get Vance to tell you, but he won't. Lieutenant, Vance has asked me to marry him.
Oh, well, congratulations. Is that what you came down here to tell me?
Did you know that Dan fired Willie just before Carol was killed?
Yes, Miss Novak.
Oh. Did you know Dan threatened Vance at Carol's wake?
Threatened him? How?
He accused Vance of murdering Carol. That's why I went to the boat, to talk to him. I don't mind telling you, Lieutenant. Dan scares me.
Do you believe he meant that? My people often say things under stress, Miss Novak.
I think Dan meant it. Lieutenant, do you suspect Vance?
This is a homicide case, Miss Novak. Everyone is a suspect.
Everyone. Dan, too?
It's possible.
Well, I feel a little better anyway. I just thought you should know.
Well, you did the right thing, Miss Novak, and thank you. I wouldn't worry too much about idle threats.
Thank you.
Goodbye, Miss Novak.
Hi, Charlie. How are things going? Normal Saturday, Mr. Robert. Just checking things out. Okay, thanks a lot, Charlie.
I don't care, Jack. I need that money now. Would you shut up and listen? I don't think they're going to wait any longer. Well, what do you want to do? Okay, okay.
Hey, what are you doing in there?
He was just kneeling there in broad daylight with that gun.
Okay. In which direction was he pointing the weapon?
That way, south.
He's right about here, huh?
Yeah, kneeling.
About like this?
Yeah.
And just pointing out that way, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, Tony. Think I got something.
What you got?
Take a look at this. That name mean anything to you? Coincidence?
It's no coincidence. Take a look out here.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Oh, you big turkey. Why would a gardener try to kill his boss?
Why would a boss want to kill his gardener?
It's amazing how many people hate Dan Robert. I mean, his gardener tried to knife him. His brother may have hated him enough to plant a snake in his bedroom. And those guys from New York sent a hitman down here to try and get rid of him. I can't figure it, Jim.
Hey, you know, I only met him twice before myself. I don't like him very much.
Was that 12-0?
Ain't one of those guys from New York?
Yeah.
What did he ever do to them?
Well, what about his brother? If he missed the first time, you know, he could be trying again with some outside help.
Yeah, we can't forget about the girlfriend.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, Tony! Am I? Here's the message on the 1026 to New York. Who's winning?
Smart ass.
Just thought I'd ask.
Goodbye, Mike. Records checked. Last 5 years show Robert yellow sheet indicates suicide. One Denise Robert, white, female, age 20. Home address, New Orleans. Next of kin, Daniel Robert. Same address.
I wonder if she hated him, too.
We can check on it. I got a feeling we're racing against time. Who's over behind us hasn't finished yet. They haven't got to Dan Robert.
Still think the brother's our best suspect.
Possible, that could be. Let's take a shower. Come on.
of Jacob be with you. And may he fulfill his blessings in you, that you may see your children's children, even to the third and fourth generation, and thereafter have life everlasting. By the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, who with the Father and the Holy Spirit lives and reigns, God, world without end. Amen. Well, are you going to kiss her or are you going to stand there grinning at me? Congratulations.
Thanks,
Well, I'm sorry I was a little late. I wish things could have been so much better for this.
Hey, what is it?
Stan.
Did you invite him?
Yeah, I sent him a note. Kind of a peace offering. Well, I wish he'd come. I mean, we're all the family that's left. I love him. He's my brother.
He'll come around. After we get back from New York, you'll see.
Hey, you're going to New York, huh?
Yeah, little business and a lot of pleasure. Well, thanks again. See you when we get back.
Good luck to you, man. Good luck to both of you.
What is it? Anne! Oh, Jesus, he killed her, Jesse! He killed her!
For God's sake, Mother, help me, please. That was one hell of a shot. You know, you really should have been there. I don't know who your man was, but the cat is good. I mean, in Nam, we use a much smaller caliber of weapon, but that thing, man, that thing blasted his ass apart. I mean, there we were. Me, my twin brother, the priest, his little white chick, on a picnic. That's a heavy scene in itself. Can you dig that? This black Catholic priest and his pregnant, honky whore. So I burned my brother's body. Man, I burned my brother's body. So I figure that the Roberts have got to get theirs, too. You see, I figure I got me some dues to pay, and I might as well start with the first Robert I know. I took Denise's diary. I took all my brother's things. His priest's habit, his briefcase, everything. You see, I took his place. I even called the church. Asked him to let me spend a year in the monastery just so I could get the moves down, you understand? I mean, I took his place. Everything worked out fine. I bet you're wondering about that snake, huh? A little VC trick I learned in there. Hey, I got Ann, too. That's why that knife's sticking out of your chest. I got you all. This jive-ass nigger got you all. And you know what? It was easy! Easy!
All we do is wait around.
Yeah, man. It's hot out here, too.
No, Father, I can.
Heard you're taking a trip.
Yep.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
So, Nurse, how much time passes in this movie?
What do you mean?
Well, the movie opens with Denise coming home from college. Apparently, she's been away from the South long enough to have a faint British accent, but I digress. Now, she's home and tells her brothers that she's pregnant, plans on getting married, and thus returns to New York City to tell her fiancé that she's lost the baby.
Okay.
Now, did that happen overnight? Then her fiancé is killed in New York, and then she returns to New Orleans?
Where she's killed.
Correct. Now, are we talking months here?
Well, that one guy called and said Dan owed Assassins Are Us for a job to kill his sister's fiancé. His account was 17 months in arrears.
Yeah. The dude doesn't pay his assassin debts. So I guess this movie takes place over the course of a year and a half. And in that time, Denise tells Vance and Dan that she's planning to leave college because she's pregnant and planning to marry a black man. The black man is then killed. Then she's killed. Dan gets married to Vance's old girlfriend. She's killed. Dan fires his gardener. And that guy's sick wife dies because he can no longer afford her meds. So he plans to kill Dan, but Dan kills him first in self-defense. Vance plans to marry his new girlfriend, Anne, and she's killed. Then Vance plans revenge on Dan, but Dan kills him too.
And all the while, Father Jesse has returned to New Orleans.
Yeah, whew, what a twisted web.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, so Father Jesse was actually the guy who impregnated Denise and was killed. The guy who everyone says is Father Jesse is actually Jake, Jesse's identical twin brother. Or maybe not identical twin. Maybe it's a statement on the old trope and bad joke that all black guys look alike. I don't know. But Jake has orchestrated all these deaths for...
Revenge. What don't you get?
You understand everything?
Yup.
I'm dubious, but I don't think this movie works particularly well as a twisty-turny mystery. It would make more sense for Dan to have been behind it all for Denise and her lover's deaths. Then for it to spiral into a revenge story from either by Vance or Jesse. To make Jesse/Jake a preacher is weird. It all leads to a pretty big time question. Why would Jake kill Denise if she was Jesse's girlfriend and fiance? Now you'd think that he'd leave her alone for his brother's sake, but why? Unless he thinks she was complicit in his brother's murder? But why would that be the case? Is he just kind of crazy and blinded by hatred? Did he go on, he did go on that conversation about how people refer to him as a black man. Is he just an angry black man? Is that what this was all pointing to?
He just wanted revenge on the Robert family.
Not exactly the greatest of conclusions, if I'm being honest.
Oh, you just didn't want Micky Dolenz to die at the end.
No, I don't. He was a good dude. He wasn't like Dan. Dan was a maniac. Vance was cool. Oh well. Well, tell the folks where the good stuff can be found.
You can find all of Geoff's writings at www.bmovieenema.com. He posts new text articles each and every Friday morning. You can also find episodes of this show, B-Movie Enema the series, on the website as well as on YouTube. Subscribe to him there to be caught up on all the episodes, as well as see clips from other movies he uses in his articles. You can follow B-Movie Enema on Facebook and Twitter. Just search for him on those sites. You can also find this show on OtherWorlds TV. If you have a Roku, add the channel for free and check out all the obscure movies on that channel, as well as the other hosts that play there on the weekends.
Excellent. Well, we kind of dipped our toe into the pool of blaxploitation for season number 2 of B-Movie Enema the series with The Night of the Strangler. Last year, I did TNT Jackson. This year, we have this movie that kind of started with something that could be classified as such, despite it appearing that Jake was caught at the end. But next week, we have a heavy hitter in the realm of blaxploitation with Scream, Blackula Scream, which is the sequel to the incredibly popular Blackula. And William Marshall is back as the African Count, and this time he's joined by the queen of blaxploitation, Pam Grier. So that should be pretty fun.
I'm looking forward to it.
You know, I'm gonna do the thing.
What thing?
You know, the thing.
No. Not the Blackula impersonation.
Yep.
No, you start and then you never stop.
I'm gonna do it.
Don't do it.
Luva!